Okay, well, I'll do this as a first video. It's been almost, want to think, like 2 months of me doing this hobby since I started. This is my first miniature that I painted. Looks bad, I guess. Um, it's a really thick. I didn't know uh, how to thin my paint correctly, so it came out this way. Uh, I like it. I'm not gonna erase it or depaint it in any way. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. This was my second one. I think it looks better. I think it looks a little bit more uh, thinned out, more details. I really like how the gun ended up being. Excuse the quality of this video. I'm doing this with my phone, so it's going to be crappy. Um, I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel exactly to 0 subscribers. I'm going to intend to do this as some kind of a log of how I'm going with my paints and perhaps a little bit of rambling. I am I am 41 years old. I am Mexican. Um, I started on this hobby because I want to hopefully get on the better parts of it, meaning patience and relaxation from the day to day. And ideally, at some point in life, I will also like to pass on those skills to my son, who is currently a 2-year-old boy. Um, yeah. For now, what I'm going to do on this video, once I get an angle that I like, it is I'm going to paint these Space Marines. These are different. This is probably, if you don't know anything about this, which is okay, I guess. These are Primaris Space Marines, new model, so to speak. These are old Space Marines, so they are called first generation, and they are smaller, as you can see on the side. Yeah, I have 10 of this. I already painted 6 of them, and I'm going to. This is the box that I got. Let me get it some point where. Yeah, there you go. This is the box that I'm painting now. These are old. I have a box of new ones. If by any chance you're interested in any paints, or you're interested in this hobby, yeah, I have to say it's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting, and it helps you clear your mind and put away a little bit of the stress of the day. These are other paintings that I got. They are called Game Color by Vallejo. They are kind of mid-range, expensive, but they are pretty good as far as I can tell. Uh, Brushes. I just got this brush set. Contains at least 5 dry brush pencils, dry brush brushes, and a couple of like 3 more for very detailed brush. You don't have to buy any of that. You just it's honestly pretty easy. I do have a wet palette. You can see it over there, but you don't need it. You can create your own for a moment. In there, I was just using the one that I created, and it's well, it works. You will also need ideally paper towel for your brushes. You can see I have pretty much used all of this, so I'm gonna just get rid of those, and I'll get some more. And I'm painting these miniatures as dark angels. Why? I don't know. I just liked the color scheme, which is basically green and ivory, white and red, and yeah, sometimes some black in there. But yeah, I will be painting this guy. I'm not sure exactly how I want to paint this dude. Seems to be that this guy is holding what is called a graph gun. So I'll try to make it as I'll try to look for references in colors, in color schemes and all of that. And basically what I'm going to do is just base coat this guy. Green. You can see that I have already primed it with black and zenithal prime white. That will give me a little bit of more lighter color in green on the top, and the shade parts will be easy for me to see. And well then, perhaps I'll be rambling while I do this. I'm going to turn on the light so I can see what I'm doing better. Hopefully it doesn't brighten up too much of your screen. And this will be the last miniature that I'm going to do of this box. This seems to be the Sergeant. I have placed what I have customized him in the way that I want to paint him. He has a chainsword, a plasma gun, and that banner. I'm right now debating on how to paint the banner, but this is the last one. First, I'm going to do this 4, then this last one, and that will be it. All of those paintings, all of those Space Marines. Now, base color, this one, game color green, dark green from Vallejo. That's the base that I'm going to use. On regards to the painting, to the brushes. Okay, the brushes. Hold on 1 second. The brushes that I'm going to use. There are many brushes that I can use over here. I have plenty of them. Part of being a family, having artists on the family, it's that you can get some brushes. None of these brushes are really special, other than they are basically all synthetic. You don't have to buy a special or overpriced brush. I have not tried one as of yet. I just started. Maybe later at some point I might buy one, but basically what I do for base coating is either use this brush that it's a number 4, and a brush that is number 3. That is, I think, how thick it might be on the top side. And for some details I use 0 or a 00 pencil, a brush that I bought. And for now what I'm going to do is just basically provide the base coating. Now, from what I learned of this hobby, and I will link the people that I've been watching their videos. They're pretty enthusiastic when talking about this, and they are more than happy to provide guidelines on how to paint your miniatures, your first miniature. Acrylic paint is the best, and you have to dilute it. This is the next part that I'm going to do. I'm going to place my paint on my wet palette, and I will start by diluting it a little bit to thin it out. You can do this by using water. Most of the time that's what I use, but it's not necessarily, it depends on your own practice and what you want to do. As far as I understand, I'm not an expert. Say, as I tried to have stated before. There's a painting medium. I have one. I have this, a thinner medium from Vallejo. So yeah, you can use this, or you can use a water from your either your wet palette or your palette, or there's always a reference to having water close by, so you can dip the pencil on it. It's also to protect your own your own brushes, so they don't get screwed on the tip. You can see I have basically abused this one, as far as I can tell. But yeah, this is something that you do not want to happen. I don't know if it is visible over here, but there's dried paint over here, mostly green because that's what I've been using. But yeah, this is not something that you want. You don't want the brush to have this paint dried up all over here. So ideally what you do is just wet the brush, ideally on a flask of water. It is, though some people do it, it is never recommended to eat the paint. So I'm not going to recommend it either. I don't do it. I place my brush on water, and that's as much as I do. So okay, let's start thinning out this green paint over here with a little bit of water. From what I learned, the consistency that you're looking for, it's like they say it's like milk consistency. So let's start. I think that's it. Another lesson that I saw recently is just to use the side of the brush and not the tip of it. That again is just to, well, for starters, the brush contains more of the ink and color of the paint in that part in the middle. And also this practice is to protect your the tip of the brush, so it doesn't it is not as damaged as it can be if you do not do that. I'm painting the legs first. They're basically the biggest parts of it. I'm just providing a base coat. I'm going to try and, usually what I do is that I just leave the same color. I do not try to use different shades. I do sometimes use different green colors that I have. I also use AK paintings. I'm sorry, AK paints, and there are a couple of greens in that box that I bought that they do have a different shade of green. One is a little bit more glowy, so to speak, and I use that to do the highlights. You'll see in a moment how I do the dry brush to do the highlights. This is the first time that I'm going to try to use the dry brush brushes that I bought. So it's going to be a test. As I said, I'm just 2 months shy away from my start on this hobby. To be honest, all the videos that I've seen and the people explaining those, they seem to be pretty welcoming to anybody that is very interested in participating in the hobby. Um, oh, by the way, this wooden thing that I bought, it's just to sustain the miniatures. I do have a plastic glue in here that it's not that strong. It's strong enough to sustain the miniature in here, so I don't have to use my fingers and ruin the painting. You may do and use whatever you want. I've seen products, very expensive products made by Games Workshop or other companies. For this, you don't need them. You can use whatever suits you. You can buy them if you want, and if you have the money. But there's nothing, honestly, I don't see anything special about it. I mean, cool if you have one, but it is not needed if you're starting on this as I am. Another recommendation that I saw recently, it's just to be sure to not let the paint dry on the pencil when you're working on your miniature. Have have your pencil in water and express that paint. That's in order to keep it clean. As you can see, what I'm doing is doing some kind of circle motion in order to help the brush release the paint. Hopefully, I think this brush is already lost cause. I don't know. Maybe there's a way for me to repair it, but at this point, I don't think so, and I'm just using it for the base coat. Um, what I do on the base coat is that I paint on green the parts of the miniature that I'm sure are going to be basically covered in this color. I'm For these Dark Angels, what I'm doing is that I'm basically painting all the armor, even the belt, in green. And then on top of that green, I'm placing any other colors that I might like for sorry, excuse me, for the miniature. I do this mostly on the power armor, though I'm not going to do that on the helmet. The helmet, I've been painting those in mostly all of them in white. I like the way it looks. Most of the Dark Angels aesthetic, it's basically that anyways. They use white white helmets, maybe some black helmets here and there. These are all Space Marines. Just remember that the model is stockier and shorter than the new model of Space Marines, as I shown earlier. So I'm testing what I have learned from watching some videos of people doing tutorials on how to paint your miniatures. So I'm not I'm not really going to put much effort in these miniatures. I'm basically using them as testing ground for what I'm going to do later, just to understand some techniques in how to paint. That's basically what I'm doing with this